This episode of Digital Photography Cafe is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera, and by Daisy Grip, for a child's smile for a photographer's camera.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe. I'm Trevor Current, your digital marketing guy.
And I'm Joseph Christina, your professional photographer.
So grab a latte, pull up a chair, and join us as we chat about the art and business of photography.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Last week we talked about social media spam and tips for making sharper photographs in the camera and not in Photoshop. If you haven't listened to last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it in iTunes, the popular Stitcher and TuneIn radio app, or simply head over to the website, digitalphotographycafe.com, and listen online.
So Joe, we are back, episode 70. How
That's
are
a
you
milestone.
doing, man? You still swimming down there or what?
No more swimming. We're kind of dried out a little bit. But show 70, wow, that's kind of nice.
Yeah. Another 10 in the can. So
Absolutely. Very cool. We seem to be getting out there everywhere as of late.
Yeah, I know. Kind of some news on the horizon here. We had talked about getting into smart TVs a few weeks ago through an app.
Right.
And that is only just like a couple weeks away now until our app is actually live and available on all these different TVs and stuff. But
very exciting.
We're also working with another big provider. We haven't nailed down all the final details yet, but we're hoping to have that up and running very soon too.
Yep, and we have a conference call with them in minutes.
That's right.
so
That's right.
Yeah, very exciting. So we're also going to be heading back out to New York once again for PhotoPlus Expo 2012, right?
Yeah, right in my neck of the woods.
That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting news. It's right around the corner again. Like always, they do it every October. This year, it's October 24th through the 27th. I think the conferences start on the 24th, and the actual trade show itself, I think, starts on the 25th.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're going to be covering the show again as press, like we've done in the past. Anybody that's been listening for a while, you know that we covered WPPI 2012 in Las Vegas this past February, and last October we did PhotoPlus as well. So we're heading back.
Absolutely. And last time it was PhotoPlus and WPPI combination in NYC. So, and these are huge photography shows. This one is going to be, just under 30,000 people is what's slated for this year. I mean, it's probably the biggest photographic show in the U.S. Abroad, of course, you have Photokina and a few others, but this is probably the largest in the U.S. So to be able to cover it as press and be able to do these great interviews with the movers and shakers and the large corporations and whatnot, it's just awesome. It's a lot of fun, and then everyone listening gets kind of the skinny without even being there. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, not everybody can fly to New York for the show, so that's what we want to do. We kind of want to meet with some industry leaders, photographers, and then of course talk with different vendors that have really interesting, unique, and kind of hot products.
Right?
Not just the normal big boys, not just here's another camera. I mean, that's great and all, but you can read about that stuff pretty much everywhere. What we want to do is actually bring you products and services that you can really use that will be a lot different.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, that was how we found Daisy Grip, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
And we love Daisy Grip. I mean, they're great over there. They're a sponsor. They have a great product. There's a brand new product that's right around the corner. You just have to listen in a couple more weeks, and you're going to hear about it. It's very, very cool. Yeah. These are the type of companies where they're smaller companies that are they're just great. They have a great story. They have a great product. And these are the companies you normally wouldn't see unless you go there. You wouldn't hear about them too much, because they are a little bit
But
small,
they're making products and services that we as photographers can really use.
Exactly.
And, in our businesses, in our daily lives, that really kind of are more valuable than, just here's another new point and shoot, or here's another new DSLR.
Sure.
So yeah, that's really kind of what our focus is going to be this year. I mean, of course, we are going to meet with some of the big boys. We've got some big sponsors out there, and they always treat us very nice. And in fact, this year we've got them donating some really fantastic prizes for a giveaway. It's going to be another big giveaway. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And, previously our show was pretty much just available, this coverage was pretty much just available on the site. But now this year, it's going to be not only on our website, it's going to be on currentphotographer.com. We've got a bunch of partners that we've connected with that are going to be syndicating it. It's going to be on Vimeo. It's going to be all over the place. But then really, kind of more importantly, it's actually going to be sent down through our podcast channels. Right. So the video channel and the audio channel. So it will be live video coverage. But then we're going to be pulling the audio out of it, doing an audio version and sending it down to the subscribers as well. So you guys will be able to get all the coverage without having to go anywhere or do anything. But you're probably going to want to stop by the website and definitely enter the giveaway.
Yeah, it's going to be
cool.
Big giveaway once again. So yeah, it's really exciting. The syndicates are really, they help out a lot because they're, we're going to be out there in a lot of different places. Like you said, what I really like too is, now that we're getting to find our way into these, into the set top, so to speak, pretty soon you're going to actually be able to see our coverage live, but in the comfort of your living room by just turning on the TV.
Yeah, exactly. And that you're not going to have to sit at your computer to do it. And of course, you're going to be able to watch our coverage on your iPhones and Androids and everything too. So absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. And, if any of you have listened to the show from last year, we had a lot of great opportunities for you as photographers. So if you're looking to get the word out about your business, maybe we have some people listening that actually sell products or services to photographers. We're going to really have some great opportunities for you. So definitely kind of, keep an eye on our Twitter stream. We're still nailing down the final little details, but we should be having something out there at the beginning of this week. So, keep your eyes peeled, check out the Twitter stream. And, if you want more information, kind of be on the list to be notified right away, just shoot us an email to dpcafe@digitalphotographycafe.com and we'll send you the info.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff is coming in the next month. So anyways, before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's show, let's go ahead and hear from one of our sponsors.
Have you ever tried to photograph a child who was on the move and wouldn't settle down? A child who just wouldn't give your camera the time of day no matter what tricks you tried? If so, we have some great news for you. Introducing the Daisy Grip, your go-to tool for capturing a child's smile.
Just think of the Daisy Grip as your third hand. Just place it into your camera's hot shoe, insert the child's favorite toy or puppet, and let the smiles begin. Imagine the storytelling magic that you'll have at your disposal with a ferocious lion or a friendly monster sitting on top of your camera. For the ultimate attention getter, place your smartphone into the Daisy Grip and play the child's favorite cartoon.
With the addition of a Daisy Grip bracket, you can free up your hot shoe for a flash or wireless transmitter.
Let Daisy Grip put the space above your lens to work for you. Make this indispensable tool your new best friend. Head over to daisygrip.com/DPC to get the listener discount.
The Daisy Grip, for a child's smile, for a photographer's camera.
So, all right, guys, last week we discussed making sharper images, in the camera instead of, out of the camera in post-production through Photoshop or whatever. And it's a really interesting kind of topic. We went, we did probably about a 30-minute show on that. And there was just a lot of good information. And, thinking about making better images and auto-focusing systems and whatnot, there was an article that came through that was kind of, when I saw it, I'm like, this is interesting. We're back into autofocus and how, the autofocus systems, they just don't always work up to snuff, and we rely on them all the times. Now, so we met with Fuji a couple years back with the X100, and then of course we met with them with the X Pro 1 when they released that, and the X Pro 1 is in the news in the last couple of days for having an update to their firmware to do exactly that, correct some of these autofocusing issues that were happening with low light and some other things.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's really good. And you know, these interchangeable lens cameras, I mean, we've been talking about them a lot on the show too. And this Fuji X Pro 1 is really a cool camera. And it's something that, you know, maybe you're not shooting with it professionally, but it might be that walk around camera you want to carry with you. And it's really nice to see that, you know, Fuji is looking at this camera as a serious player in their camera line and trying to better it by making these upgrades to the autofocusing system, because that really is important, you know, and the fact that it's an interchangeable lens. I mean, sure, you can put your 50 millimeter, your wide angle on it, or even the zoom that they have. So you want that autofocus to be working as best it can for your different lenses.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, one of the things that they correct in this update is, you know, when you're trying to dial in focus, it really needs to do it almost real time. So when you're looking at the back of the camera and you're kind of spinning that ring, what they've done is they've kind of improved that quickness, let's say, snappiness.
Yeah, through the LCD monitor. Yeah,
right. Which is, you know, it gives you that impression of it being, you know, old school, looking through a prism, looking through a glass viewfinder, in comparison to actually looking at, you know, an LCD.
Right.
So it's, you know, they're doing things to improve it. And like you said, you know, they're obviously listening to us. You know, they're listening to the consumer, saying, oh, you know, we're having problems with this and that. And they're actually iterating. They're actually fixing it and releasing those firmware updates kind of, you know, timely, which is great. I mean, we love Fuji.
I mean, that's a big comment that I've heard from people as we've been talking about some of these, you know, ILC cameras. You know, their biggest complaints have always been they're too slow. They're too slow with the LCD. It's not real time, and this is actually steps taking to correct that.
Yeah, very, very, very good, very good. So, you know, we'll see. I'm sure we'll see them this year at PhotoPlus X.
Yeah. We'll hook up with them again and check out what they're doing now. That'll be
great. I love it. One of the other articles that we kind of rummaged up to, today, or it was actually yesterday, I think, when I found this one. It's an old story, but kind of like a little bit of a new twist. And I kind of wanted to bring it up because it has to do with an illustrator and it has to do with a photographer and a lot of money in between the two, and bringing an AP, you know, Associated Press into the mix and stuff. And that's that whole, what is it, Shepard Fairey, that whole thing where he took a picture that a photographer, I think the photographer's last name was Garcia, took his picture that he snapped of Obama, and then created that hope, you know, illustration. And now, you know, you see it on bumper stickers, you see it on shirts,
T-shirts, everywhere,
everywhere. And you know, and this guy, you know, the first year that this thing came out, you know, he grossed like almost $3 million. The second year he grossed $4.5 million. The third year was $6.8 million. So, you know, he has made a lot of money on this illustration. So he was in court for a while with this whole thing. And
for copyright infringement, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We love copyright infringement.
Yep. Back to the whole gray area of this stuff, right?
Right. So,
so now he's looking at possible jail time because they're saying that he destroyed the original image that he supposedly used to create this artwork from, and tried to cobble something together to kind of replicate it and say like, oh no, I didn't steal your photo and make my artwork from it. I made it from this mess.
Right. So. Exactly. And so, yeah, not only, you know, was he destroying, you know, the original image off his computer, but then he was trying to, make something, to fabricate something. So, I don't think that, the judge did not like that too much. So, you know, he's looking at a possible $3.2 million fine. Now, supposedly, you know, he already settled with AP and the photographer, or both, or however it was back in, it was 2011.
Right. And out of court. The usual undisclosed amount.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, this all goes back to, okay, so he was stupid to try and fabricate this image and, you know, say that he got it from elsewhere. I mean, it's obvious that his artwork was created from this photograph. I mean, there's no doubt. You look at it and it's very obvious. I mean, you know, a second grader could see that. Now, he's claiming that he used the image under fair use.
Correct.
You know, he's not selling the photograph. that photographer made. He's selling a likeness of that photograph that he illustrated.
Right.
Now, is the likeness too close to the photograph? I mean, ideally, you look at it. I mean, you look at it, and there's no doubt it is, but it's not the photograph. It's a derivative. So, is that technically in legally in copyright violation? Ethically, it's not right, but legally, is it a copyright violation? And there's probably a case that can be made on both sides, and that's probably why it was to his, you know, he probably wasn't happy about it, but I'm sure he was encouraged by his lawyer to settle out of court, pay them some money, and make this whole thing go away. But now it hasn't gone away.
No,
And now
and
it's
that's
coming up to bite him in the butt again.
Yeah, as soon as you start lying and start to fabricate stuff, things get, you know, murky at best. So yeah, I mean, okay. So as a photographer, so I look at it now. I'm the photographer. You're the illustrator.
Right.
Okay. You get to be him, and I get to be Garcia.
Right.
So
right.
you know, as Garcia, I would say, you know, all right. So I made this image. You know, obviously I was working for AP. So they had to pay to get me to the location. They had to pay me to take the photograph. I had to pay for food. I had to pay for my education. I had to pay to be there to create this image. So,
Right.
you know, as that person that created that image, you know, I would like to be reimbursed for something. I mean, yes, this guy made it more than what my image could have ever been as solely an image, but he did not just use this image as a baseline. He actually basically auto traced the whole damn thing.
Right.
And it's like, it's, you know, tone for tone. See, for
Yeah,
me, you know, as a photographer, you know, I look at shadow. My thing is shadows. I write articles about shadows. The light falls in where it needs to fall in, but shadows are important. And when I see the illustration, and if anyone's watching the video, they'll see it up on the screen. What I looked at immediately was the shadow that's cast onto his left collar, you know, onto the collar of his shirt. And that shadow is identical to the shadow in Garcia or my photograph. I mean,
Right.
It's in the exact location, the same spot, the exact everything. That to me is just, obviously the whole thing is just a direct copy.
Right, right. I mean,
So-
as an illustrator, okay, ethically, that's not right to do. Illustrators use photography all the time as reference art for creating their illustrations.
Right.
At no point should you reproduce a reference art file, a reference photo, kind of as is. Now, technically, he didn't. I mean, it is in illustration. It's artwork now. It's vector based. It's a high contrast image with line color. It is very different from the original photo,
Right.
but it still is that derivative. And me personally, I never would have done something like that. I would have used maybe a combination of different photos to illustrate, to make the artwork that I was looking for. So, you know, not just to kind of cover my own butt, but, you know, why do you want to recreate something that was already created by another artist? I mean, if you want to be an artist, if you want to create a derivative work, you need to put your spin on it that is more than just the technique that you're using to create the art, but maybe the position, maybe the feel of it. But he obviously wanted to capitalize on this great photo that was made that captured that mood and add his own little twist to it. So again, back to, is it fair use? Did he just fairly use it as a reference art? Or is it really a copyright violation because it is a direct copy of his work, just in a different format? And that's that whole gray area. And that's why the lawyers get involved.
Yeah, that's right. So,
That's why they
all
get
right.
paid
So
the big
I'm
money.
glad you said that. So, you know, the lawyer's involved. Now, I'm Garcia. What I would have liked to seen, and what I think that the quote unquote artist should have done, you know, Ferry there. So I think that if, you know, he saw that after the first 6 months, he's just made like $1 million.
Right.
You know, he could have very easily said, hey, let me go and find out who made this image, if he didn't know already. Contact him directly. You know, I don't know if it's something that has to go through AP. Was he shooting freelance, or was he shooting directly for AP? I don't know. But let's just say he was shooting freelance. And this is his photograph. This is his copyright. He could say, listen, I use this artwork as, as a baseline for this line drawing that's really going just bananas, and I'm making a lot of money. I would like to share some of this with you because, this is where I originally got the inspiration. This is where I actually copied it. But besides that, can we work something out? Maybe, whatever proceeds I receive, I'll give you 10% or 5%. You know what? I tell you what, Garcia or me would be very happy to now at $6.9 million get a check for $600,000 for an image.
But would that be good enough? I mean, and this is the problem that the artist that Ferry probably faced here is that now, all right, I did what I did. Now it's blowing up. It's selling like hotcakes. Now, if I go to this guy and say, hey, I'll give you a little piece of the action, is 10% going to be enough? Is this guy going to say, no, I want 50%? You know, and now the artist who did the marketing, who created the artwork, who created the products that this is being sold on is being screwed out of 50% because he opened his mouth.
Right.
So he probably just looked at it and said, you know what, I'm just going to let the chips fall where they lie. And if it hits the can, and if I do, because the fact of the matter is, if he wasn't making millions of dollars off of this, we would never even have read about it. We never would have even heard about it. People steal images and do stuff with them every day. We know that as photographers. That's why we watermark things, to make the auto trace process a little bit more difficult, to make the retouching process a little bit more difficult. But we know they're doing it every day. If John Smith went and grabbed a picture of some, person's wedding that you photographed of them kissing, because, it just made like a really great looking thing. Odds are that you as a photographer would never even know it because it's not of famous people. It's just an image. And if it's a derivative that is different enough from the original photograph, nobody would ever know. Nobody would ever care. And meanwhile, this person could be selling, wedding invitations to a very small niche market that is using a derivative of your photograph on it, and you'd never know about it.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. Even to today, he's still, stating that this, appropriation of this photograph was, fair use. And as a photographer, I look at it and I say, you know what? It's not fair use.
No,
this is a professional
that he
image.
Did it at, I agree. It's beyond fair use. He shouldn't have done that.
I think the difference.
It's not illegal. Like I said, it's ethically not right, but maybe it wasn't illegal.
It's possible, but and like you said, let the chips fall as they will, and so now the chips actually have fallen, and they're instead of falling in favor, they're falling out of his favor because he obviously had a settlement happen back in 2011, some type of settlement, but now he's looking at possible jail time and an additional $3.2 million. So, one way or another, if this could have been settled a long time ago if it was done properly. So if you're so the bottom line here is, as an artist, we know that, as I've said just hundreds of times, we stand on the shoulders of all the people that come before us. That's just how it is. I don't believe that there's very many people out there just creating brand new, thought. These thoughts are things that are inborn, that we get at birth, and then they constantly change as we interact with our environment and see other people's work, and it kind of influences us. So there is but the bottom line is if you're going to directly use someone's piece of work, get in contact with them. That's why you can, he could have probably licensed or something the image if he really wanted to, or something.
He could have made those arrangements with him up front to license the image, tell him what he's going to do with it. And they would have said, okay, great. I'm going to charge you $100,000 to license it.
Right. You know what?
If it failed, it would have been a lot of money to invest.
Trevor,
but with the success of it,
I bet you that AP, that image could have been licensed for peanuts at that moment, because everyone had great Obama shots at that period of time. He just selected that one because he liked the way it looked, and he used it. If it came out of someone's point and shoot camera, or it came out of an iPhone and he found it on Facebook, it would have been a different story. But since it's AP, and AP has a ton of money, they can hire these attorneys to go and beat him
and
up.
They can fight it.
And that's just how it works. Right. End of story. Lawyers.
And us as small photographers, in comparison, don't have the money to fight it. And that's why, these types of copyright issues are a big thing. And as photographers, the only thing we can do is take the best steps possible to protect our images, to prevent it from getting to this level. Absolutely.
I tell you what, talking about best steps, I think Twitter took a very good step as of late, and about this nice little widget that they finally came up with that we've been needing forever. But before we get into the nice Twitter widget, let's go ahead and take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors.
Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener. Yeah, so Joe, you talked about Twitter and this new widget. So yeah, they had an announcement on their blog this week that the blog title was More Tweets Across the Web. And basically what they did is they introduced the ability to use their platform to create widgets of a Twitter user's timeline or their likes or favorites or a hashtag or what have you, and actually embed it on their website.
And the beauty of it is it's real time. You're not calling on an API and it's all delayed. This is real time.
Yeah, well, that really is the biggest problem. I mean, I'm running a plugin on Current Photographer that has my tweets flowing through it. And 50% of the time, the damn thing doesn't work. You know, it's so frustrating. I mean, I'm in and out of there all day long. And I log in and it's like, it's not showing up, and it's frustrating because there's all kinds of plugins out there, but any third-party plugin that is running, doing the same type of function is going to have the same limitations. It's relying on the Twitter API.
Right.
So by using Twitter's widget, they're going to give their widget priority over a third-party developer's widget.
Right. And if you're out there, you don't know what an API is. Basically, it's a method that a third-party piece of software could put in calls for data to the main machine, the main server. And each one of these third parties get only so many calls per minute, per second, per hour, per day, and then that's it. So they really have to be very, let's say, thoughtful when they write their code, not to overwhelm the API, because by the end of the day, you might not have any more codes, and then your system goes dead.
Right. That's right. And there's a lot of third-party products out there that rely on the Twitter API, but what they do is they cache.
Right.
So they have their own servers working in the mix too. So if let's say you want search data based on a particular hashtag, somebody will do that call to the API, it'll pull down the data, and then it will cache that data on their server. So the next person using their tool, should they request the same information, they pull it from that server rather than Twitter servers. So they save on API calls.
And it might be 5 minutes, later.
Right, exactly. So what happens though with this type of a plugin where you want real-time Twitter stream of your tweets going out there, it's a constant API call. So when you have multiple people using the same developer's plugin, making multiple calls to the API, you burn through them really quick.
Right.
So the beauty now is that Twitter will basically prioritize their widget, their API calls, let's say, over others, one would assume. They didn't say that, but you'd have to assume it's their product, which in theory would lend to the idea that you're going to have more uptime of these widgets working.
Yeah,
So,
and you know what? I like this too because there's multiple factors that I like about it. One of the really cool things is you can do an entire user's timeline, so that their timeline is constantly going through it. You can do searches by doing hashtags. So what's great is, like, for example, we're going to be, in PhotoPlus Expo, so it'd be, what is it, PPE 2012, let's say, a hashtag. We would be able to actually, you can watch what people are tweeting at PhotoPlus real time, right? Let's say, for example, on Digital Photography Cafe. Or
right on our website. So if you're there watching the videos from the show anyway, you can look into the sidebar and actually watch this live stream of tweets coming through. And the beauty is you can actually interact right through that box.
Exactly.
So you can type your message there, you can reply, you can retweet, you can favorite right from this widget, which some of the other widgets out there did, but didn't do it well again.
Right.
So all right. So how do you make one of these widgets? So it's really neat. This is a relatively new announcement, so they very well may be rolling it out. It may not be available to everyone yet, but you can check very easily. So log into Twitter through the web interface and then head over to the person icon up in the upper right of the screen there. And then you want to click on the settings button. So on that screen on the left side, you'll see at the bottom of the list a button called Widgets.
Right.
So just click on that. It opens a new screen, and then there's a create new. And then from there, you have your choice of a user timeline, favorites, lists, or search. So that's where you can select all the different things we just talked about.
And what's great about that is then it goes and kicks out. It generates the specific code that you just cut and paste it right into your website. It couldn't be simpler.
No, it's really easy. So there's no plugin that you need to run on your WordPress site. If you're not running WordPress, if you're running Joomla, or even if it's just a straight HTML site. We don't want to talk about Flash, so
yeah,
but yeah, it's a matter of pasting the code in, and it just works. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It does give you the ability to customize some features like the height of the window. It will auto flow the width based on where you're putting it. So if you're putting it in a sidebar, it will flow the width to be the width of your sidebar, and the height will be whatever you tell it is.
Yeah,
and then you have the ability to select, I think, a color for the links or something.
So if you guys are listening, just head over to digitalphotographycafe.com, look on the right-hand side, and you'll actually see this working and running. So you can kind of interact with it and see how it works. It's very, very cool. One of my favorite parts of this thing is that it does photographs, and it does them well. It'll actually resize them so that it fits in the widget, in the little area that's allotted.
Yeah.
It just looks awesome. We put a couple of tweets out there from one of our sponsors, and they had illustrations, they had photographs, and they look phenomenal. I mean, what an amazing job. And you know what? I'm not always a fan on all the stuff that Twitter does, because I really like the third party and what they're doing, like, for example, TweetDeck and whatnot. But this widget, I mean, they got it right, because we've tried many other widgets in the past, and they're all just a wreck, just a hot mess. And this thing is it just works. It just simply works. Very, very cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So we're going to use it on DPC. We'll see how it runs. I'm actually going to set one up on Current Photographer using this particular one, and I may actually do two of them. I may do one for, our tweets, mine and Current Photographer's tweets, and I may actually set up another one for our contributors.
Excellent.
Do it as a list. Because I have a list set up of our contributors, and actually have it flow their tweets through our site. It's great for a little bit of extra exposure for them.
It's a value add for being a contributor, being a contributor to Current Photographer. I think it's great. Absolutely. So anyways, moving into a side note of a photographic topic, I guess. And we've been doing everything but photography so far.
News,
but anyway,
business, let's talk about some photography.
Yeah, so let's talk about photography. So, over the years, I kind of developed this thing that, when I shoot, obviously, if you've listened for a while, you know that I'm a commercial photographer, and I do a lot of like models and actors and whatnot, portraits and magazines and a lot of album covers and this kind of stuff. But, I developed like what I call the 3 C's of positive subject interaction. And
the 3 C's.
The 3 C's, and the 3 C's are simply, comfort, comfortable, confident, and controlled. And, the whole idea behind this is, as a photographer, once you do it for a while, you realize that the camera is almost like a mood ring. You remember those, those things back in the 70s, 80s, you put it on and it changes color and oh, look, you're happy. Well, the photographer, if any photographer,
I'm just sweaty.
Yeah, no, I'm just hot and sweaty. But, as a photographer, when you do this for a long time and you interact with just hundreds of people, you will find that the camera is like a mood ring. It will photograph people's internals as much as their external. So when people are extremely happy, it comes through the lens. It's just captured that way. If there's anything,
you get that little bit of extra sparkle to the eye, or a more natural smile as opposed to a forced smile.
There's nothing to be said. I mean, that you can't say about this, because it's so, it's so impactful having someone just happy in front of the camera. Now, the first one, of course, would be comfort. That means that, you want to make sure the model or the actor or whoever you're doing has drinks, they have food available to them. You have, for example, we're in Florida, the AC is cranking.
So you're not hot and sweaty.
So you're not
glowing.
Exactly. Or where you
sweaty
are.
Armpits in your fashion.
Exactly. Or where you are, of course, you would be putting a log on the fire or running your
keeping them nice and
or,
toasty. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And, and you don't want to blind the subjects. How many people they'll go and, use huge flashes like right in their eyes, or they'll do continuous light and they won't shut the continuous light off and just keep beating on them. You want to do stuff to make them comfortable, because a comfortable subject is a happy subject, and that will come across in the images. The other side of that is, confidence, to be confident. Anyone that's being photographed that hasn't done it forever, they kind of get a little bit scared, and even if you've done it for a while, you get those little, butterflies. As a photographer, most of the time we don't, we take the photographs, we're not being photographed. I challenge you guys, if you haven't been photographed in a long time and you're a photographer, go put on your bathing suit.
And get in front of the camera.
Hand over your camera to your wife or loved one or whoever it is, and have them take some photographs of you. And that feeling,
see how confident you'll feel.
Exactly. Yeah. That feeling that you get is exactly what the majority of the people that you're photographing get when you first start. So
all us guys will be up there sucking our guts in. All right, go ahead.
Exactly. That's right.
Look, I've got abs now.
Yeah. You'd be like, we're going to photo retouch something with that or something. But yeah, that confidence really comes across. So, you want to be positive. You want to, some people say, don't chimp on the back of the camera, continuously. But you know what? Looking at the back of the camera, finding an image that you really like, once you get the angle just right, and you tell them, I'm going to take a lot of pictures, but I'm going to make sure that we get you at the exact angle that you look your best. Once you get some really good light and everything is coming across in the camera as it should be, and obviously you're shooting it right in camera, not trying to fix it in post. We all know you're doing that. Turn that camera around and show the model, show the actor, show the person that you have, in the chair or in front of you, and let them look at it. As soon as they see that and it looks great and they look really good, that builds their confidence. And now you're going to get even more out of them because they're happy about it,
Yep, that's right. I mean, everybody knows what they look like in the mirror. They may have a certain perception of themselves that may not be accurate one way or another. I mean, they may think they look gorgeous, or they may think they're oh my God, I'm so ugly. But whatever that perception is, you as a photographer, it's your job to make them look fantastic.
Right.
And you're going to show them that in a way that they haven't seen themselves before or on a regular basis. So yeah, they're going to feel a lot better about these beautiful images. I mean, I would even say if you are doing studio work, maybe it would be nice to have a monitor set up, not facing them so it's not distracting them, but maybe so, at the end of it, maybe you flip their images up on a monitor, and let them see it from there, from the computer or something.
Yeah, we do that very often. We have the monitors we turned around towards us while we're taking a look at large images to see how they look. And when we get one that's just the way that we like it, we bring the model in to come and take a look, and they can actually see themselves. If you don't, now remember, this not only builds confidence for the model, but you need to be confident in your skills too. You start taking pictures and they look horrible and they're looking at that, you're going to do
you don't
the
want them to
exact
feel worse
opposite
about themselves. That's for sure.
Yeah, then you're just going to basically just don't do it at all. You need to be confident to be able to make them confident. And like you said, you need to make them look good, but to do that, you need to make them feel good. And that has a lot to do with confidence. So the third C is what I call controlled. You are in control. You are in control of the situation. You're in control of them. There shouldn't be no room for just thought that I don't know what I'm doing, or where do you want me? Right. Any professional model that you shoot, they're gonna look at the photographer for guidance. Sure. And if the photographer is not giving her or him guidance, they immediately they do not like the photographer immediately, and the pictures will not come out good. And then they'll talk about you later too. So, you're like, that photographer, he's not, he's not good. So, you don't want to leave the model or the actor or the subject in the dark. You really want to talk with them, let them know what you're looking for, how to turn, how to act, the mood.
Yeah. And even if you're not working with a professional, I mean, a good professional model, even if they're given poor direction or no direction from a photographer, a lot of them know how to move. They know what their body looks like. They know what poses they need to be in to make it look good.
Right.
But where you really run into it is when you're shooting the non-professionals, the moms, the dads, the kids. I mean, not conversing with them, not telling them what you want them to do, how to position themselves. And they're left to try and figure it out on their own. That's not going to go well for you.
No, you have to tell them. And one of the, I guess I would say, secrets on how I work is when I'm working with them, besides telling them exactly what I need them to do, I wouldn't say shot by shot, but the general mood of what should be happening in the shot. Mm-hmm. What I do is I have them think about something that is maybe positive, something that's happy, something that we're trying to convey. So if it's a moody shot, something really dark, I want them to think dark thoughts. I want them to think about that, because like I was saying from the beginning, your thoughts, your perception, your feeling, your mood comes across in those images. So
I remember you doing that on the shoot we were on with the models, and you did all these dark images with their hatchets and knives and stuff like that, and they're all in these beautiful dresses. And they look evil, man.
But now if I would say, think about rabbits and butterflies and rainbows, now all of a sudden they're smiling and everything's so nice. And guess what? That's not what I want. I want blood, guts, gore.
Think about killing those rabbits.
I want you to slit the rabbit. No, that's a little overboard. But anyways, I mean, it really, that for me, that's what works. You really need to bring them to that place and then have them kind of marinate in that place. And once marinated, that's when it really starts coming out. And that's
good stuff.
That's when the good stuff happens. Exactly. Right. So anyways, it's a little bit of, kind of a couple of tips. I call them the 3 C's. Once again,
3 C's.
That's right. So it's keep them comfortable, make sure that they're confident, and keep in control. They need to feel like you're completely in control over the shoot, and then they will feel like, what they're doing is right, and you are telling them and kind of guiding them instead of them, sitting in kind of like la la land, not knowing what you want. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
good stuff. Hey, Joe, do you know our video hit number 10 in iTunes this week?
I don't believe it.
I almost fell off the chair yet again. You guys out there are fantastic.
Awesome.
Obviously, you're listening, you're watching. Our shows, both the audio and the video, have been moving up the ranks in iTunes and stuff there. So we're really happy. Thank you all so much for subscribing. If you aren't already subscribed, please do so. We'd love that. And we're still working on that new and noteworthy. I don't know if we're going to hit it, but all of your support really helps. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And as we've said before, if you guys write a review for us on iTunes, which we'd really appreciate, or write a post about us on your blog, kind of saying how much you like the show, or
how much you hate the show. Yeah, that's great.
But definitely let us know about it. We'd like to go check it out, and definitely want to connect with you, and we'll add you into our Friends of the Show page. So
yeah, it's always great to have comments from everyone that's listening. I mean, it gives us a way of making the show better, honing it to what you guys like and don't like. And it just, it just all around works out well. So we love the constructive criticism, and we love all of your wonderful notes. And maybe if you guys have a chance, do a little video. Send us a little video on what you think about the show, or any kind of comments. We love to see you guys.
Sure, yeah. You send us a video or an audio clip, we'll try and use it on the show.
Yeah,
it'd be great.
Very cool.
So, Joe, if people want to connect with you and see all the stuff that you're up to, how's the best way to get in touch with you?
We love Twitter. So you can find me at Joseph Christina, and that's Christina without an H.
That's right. And you can connect with me on Twitter at Trevor Curran.
Excellent, Trevor. Once again, a great show. That is show 70 now in the can. Wow. Yep. If you guys have any questions or topics you'd like to discuss on next week's show, send us a message through our website, digitalphotographycafe.com, or you can connect with us once again through Twitter at dphotocafe. If you're listening on the go, fear not. Everything that we covered during this week's show can easily be found in our show notes at our website. Once again, keep your questions and comments coming, and we'll talk to you next week.